Been shopping again, and thanks to one of the followers of this channel, I've managed to pop into Lidl today and pick up an apple tree. And that's this one. It's a pretty good size as well. And it's called a Jonah Gold or a Jonah Gold, not sure how you pronounce that. And it gets that name because it's a cross between a Jonathan apple and a Golden Delicious. It is a grafted tree, and it's also self-sterile, which as a rule means you need another species of apple tree, not the same type, to cross-pollinate. But on this channel we always do things a little different, so I only bought one, and what I'm going to do is see if I can rely on bees and other insects pollinating the tree for us so we get a few apples. We'll move it into a bigger container as well. You can see it's a really healthy looking plant, and it is getting buds on top as well. So we're going to put that on and give it a try. I'm not in a position where I can plant it in ground, so obviously it's going to have to go in a big container. And if I could have found another fruit tree, I would have bought two, but as I said, you can't just buy the same one again if it's self-sterile. You need a different species of apple tree and certain ones to allow for cross-pollination. So I'm doing easy road. I don't expect much from it this year, although apparently these trees flower during May and then they fruit around about October. So by the end of this season, at least we'll know where we stand. And by next year it's going to be a bigger tree anyway. And if we need to get something else to help with that pollination process, then we can do that. But for today, we're just going to pot it on and get it going. I've also bought some onions. Again, I got these from Garden Centre, and the multi-sown. And the good thing about that is we can either just plant them out in clumps and let those onions grow and push each other apart, or we could separate them and plant individual onions. And these are a main crop one. So once again, pack of 12 plugs for £2.99. The apple tree, by the way, from Lidl was £9.99, so I think for the size of it, it was a pretty good deal. We've also been back to Home Bargains, and we've got some troughs, and it's these troughs that I'm going to use to grow onions. I think there's plenty of space in there, because what I'll try and do is grow medium-sized onions, so we can actually plant them quite close together, because as we know, if you plant 4 or 5 onions together in a bunch, they do push each other apart, just like beetroot does. But we're not actually going to do them that close. I'm trying to get some decent sized onions this year, so we'll probably do a couple of containers of those ready to harvest sometime around August, September. I've also bought a pack of plants that I never seem to have much luck with, at least not in Derbyshire, and that's cauliflowers. Once again, 12 plants, pre-grown, very healthy looking, £2.99. So I'm thinking that now we're in Lincolnshire, maybe I'll have a little more luck. We've got to keep trying every year and not giving up at first hurdle. So I'm going to keep going, and these are called White Excel. £2.99, 12 plants, a good deal. And I found some more strawberries. We've really struggled with strawberries this year. There didn't seem to be many around, but these are called Lauren, and this was a pack of 6 and it was £3.99. They were from Garden Centre. But as you know, strawberries produce more strawberry plants, so we only need a few this year to get us started and prepared, ready for next season. So we'll get those potted on as well. And then I've got a few more of these containers, perfect for growing quite a lot of different things in. I got another 4 of those. These are from Home Bargains as well, and they're only £1.29 each, a good size. But don't forget, you need to drill those holes in the bottom. And then I got some bigger ones, same type, need drainage holes, but a bigger size for £2.99 each. So it's probably something this size I'll start off that apple tree in. We can always move it on to a bigger container later, but it don't want leaving in that pot for much longer because it'll get root bound, and that is basically going to slow it down at the time of year when it should be putting on lots of new growth. So another job that we've got to sort out. I've also bought some different compost from Garden Centre. I've been buying that Verve from B&Q, and it's 3 bags for £15, but I've noticed the last couple of bags that I've bought have got a lot of wood in them. quite big twigs. So I thought today I'll change to something else. But I still managed to get 3 bags for £15 and they're all 50 litre bags. And that one's called Westland Multi-Purpose. So we'll have a go with that and see what quality it is, because there's no difference in distance by going from one place to another to pick up either one. So if the Westland's better quality, we'll stick with that for now. So for the moment, I'm going to get holes drilled in this and we're going to transfer that apple tree into it, and hopefully it'll start and put on some extra growth over the next few months. So a minute later, and we've got lots and lots of holes drilled in this container. So we'll get this plant out and we'll see what it looks like, and we'll make sure that we put plenty of feed in this container as well, because obviously when you're growing things in containers and it rains quite a lot, the nutrients can leach out the bottom. So just be aware of that, and for most plants I give them a little bit of feed every couple of weeks just to keep those nutrients topped up. I've just cut top off of that bag, and this looks a lot better quality. It's compost without the twigs. I think we'll be changing from B&Q to Garden Centre and getting that from now on, because when you sieve it you're not losing as much. So we'll get this pot filled, add that feed, get this tree in. Definitely better quality. It's also not as lumpy as the other stuff. We had to break up lots and lots of lumps in that verve. So I am definitely changing to this one now. And I'm using fish blood and bone for this. So I want to make sure we've got a couple of handfuls of nutrients. Give that a quick mix and we'll get that plant out. We'll have a look, see what the root's like on this. Hopefully it's going to come out without too much trouble. There we go, perfect. You can see that we have got quite a lot of roots, but it's not too much. And you can see where it's trying to go round and round that container. But now it's got a new lease of life, so I'll just quickly rough up that bottom to release those roots. And that's all we need to do, and then we can get it straight in and make sure we get it at the right height and centralise it as well. We'll just keep adding bits until we've got it where we want it. So just a little bit more to finish this container off. And for now, that'll do. So that's the start of his first apple tree. Another great addition to this Caravan container garden, his own apple tree. And obviously we're only wanting to grow this to a certain size, but these trees, if planted in ground, can reach 10 to 15 feet. Obviously, because you put it in a container, that's going to restrict its growth. But hopefully, by end of year, we might be harvesting his very own fresh, homegrown apples. If not, we'll definitely get some the following year. So if you're interested in seeing what else we're going to be doing outside this Caravan container garden, then please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and I'll see you soon. And don't forget, we've got quite a few bits and bobs that we've bought today that we now need to get sorted out over the next couple of days. I'll see you then. Take care.